am calling to order the work session for the Board of Education for Battle Creek Public Schools. Today is Monday, June 8th, 2026, and it is 5:30. Can you please call the roll, please?
Felicia Hayden. Present. Faith Torres. Art McClinney. Dr. Alicia Johnson.
Here.
Nathan Graycheck. Here. Dr. Nicole Perry.
Present.
Charlie Fulbright.
I will now entertain a motion to approve the agenda or hear for consideration of additions or deletions.
Vice President Perry. I'll move to approve the agenda.
It's been moved by Trustee Johnson, supported by Trustee Hayden.
Let's go to the next one. This is budget. This is budget. So do that. You're good.
Zoned out too. Okay. It's been moved by Trustee Johnson and supported by Trustee Hayden that accept the agenda. Do I hear any discussion? All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Let's go ahead and move into our budget hearing.
Put it down here. Click on this. Thank you, sir. Roll up. You're awesome. Hi, everybody.
Oh.
We're going to talk about budget again. Just so you guys are aware, I'm never going to come at you just once with budget. Like next year, you'll probably get it like 4 times because we have so much going on. This year, you're lucky enough to only get it twice. So here we go. Budgets, as you guys are probably aware of, there's 3 ways that we get our funds. So we're going to talk about those a little bit as we go through. So we have local sources, we have state and federal, all right? So the state outlook, as you're looking at the state of Michigan, they look to decrease their general fund balance by 1.3%. School aid, they're talking about increasing that for us, but we don't know that yet because it hasn't passed all the way through. And then revenue is looking like it's actually going to increase on the state level. For us, the school funding outlook, we're still losing students all through the county. And we don't expect that to change, unfortunately. Inflation rates are going up. We have businesses leaving. That's going to affect us. Questions or thoughts on that so far? Sorry to be doom and gloom.
Sorry.
Yes,
Do you have a
ma'am.
projection on the student loss?
150 is what we're planning on in the budget this year. Federal outlook. So the federal education bill was passed, and below this, what you'll see is the highlights of that. So the Title I-A funding will increase slightly. IDEA or special education will increase. Charter schools got more money. And then grants and language protection you can see there. So the state budget, some of the good stuff is they're actually projecting, none of this is finalized. They haven't even gotten that far yet, but some of them, the things that are good is they're actually projecting a $250 increase per student, which would be huge for us. The weighted formula is, they're talking about changing that. What that looks like right now, I'm just not exactly sure yet. They've talked about a couple different formulas and changing that a couple different ways, and they just have not come out with any of the concrete information as of yet. Free meals will continue, and then there's talking about actually adding a sales tax holiday for school clothes shopping before the school year starts. So they are focusing on schools. We just don't have anything concrete yet to see how much they're going to focus on us. Questions so far? Okay. So when we talk about revenue, For this budget, this is where the local side comes in. We're actually going to see a property tax increase. I talked about that a little bit last time. But that's where you're going to see $100,000 increase on your local revenue. But the decrease in enrollment, we had to decrease the expenses, obviously. With that, we did not cut any classroom jobs. So in other words, no teachers were cut in anything. When you hear about cuts, those are all, 99% of those are grant-funded positions. And I'll get to that a little bit more here in a minute on the whys behind that. Right now in this budget, I'm only counting the current per pupil amount. I'm not looking at adding that $250 because it hasn't been guaranteed yet. So I'm not doing it until it gets passed. But we do have a $700,000 increase in special education. Questions so far?
You say, oh, never mind.
And the special education increases from the state?
Negative. Well, yes, it goes through the county, through the ISD. But they're giving us the $700,000 in the indirect cost, is what's being called. So technically, yes. When you look at some of these lines, like you'll see, we talked about a little bit before, like you'll see the 16 million and then that decrease. There's three different kinds of ESSER funds. So ESSER, there was literally 1, 2, and 3. Those were infrastructure, IT, things like that. Those are federal programs that ended. That's why you see such a drastic change in those numbers, is because those funds and quote unquote grants ended. What are you laughing at? I'm waiting for questions. No questions?
Keep going.
Yes, sir. Roger that. That's all I need to hear. All right. Thanks, Art. I appreciate it.
They will
Okay.
interrupt you.
Yes. Don't lynch me.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So the outdoor education, we are looking at total revenue of $600,000. We're going to increase the housing revenue, decrease. There's a decrease in the attendance, but and a decrease in some of the grant funding. But there are plans to help that, and we actually have a balanced budget with them for next year. When you're looking at math and science, this is a huge one. We have $1 million revenue plan, but we also have a $970,000 deficit plan for next year. So we have plans in place to right that ship, if you will. The sales have been decreased, so we're changing our sales strategy. Jose's helping us work on marketing. We're going to do a lot of focus around that to bring back that business. Same thing for the Dudley side. We have a $700,000 deficiency at this point, and we're going to look to increase and do different strategies with that as well. So those are all part of this budget and this plan.
You see you have a plan for the Math and Science Center. Like what all does that look like?
Reaching out to more schools. So it's selling more kits, doing more of the PD, so we can actually start selling and using the folks that we have there for PD. Getting back to what we had before, except making it more global. Things that like Herb and I were talking about is we have avenues that are actually sought at all across the world. So there's what we call expat schools even in China that are run by IBM, and they don't have access to things that we actually produce on a daily basis. And reaching out to places like that and other schools farther north, even hitting into other states more, and getting that word out more than just waiting on word of mouth, if you will. So having a more structured attack of who we're looking at instead of just waiting for it to come to us.
So reaching out to new places that
Exactly.
potential buyers, and there's the capacity in place to fill those.
Yes, sir. Good question. Budget reductions. So to maintain our physical responsibility, we had to do reductions. Those reductions were, like I said, 99% grant-funded positions. So when we look at that, a lot of them came out of WKKF. We have a degree, we're actually coming to the end of that grant period. So as I go on, I'll show you that slide where our funding is decreased drastically. Budget summary, projected to bring in 61 million. That's a decrease in 1.5 million. Expenditures will match that. Fund balance is still projected to go up. The reason that is the fund balance is wrapped around employees. So the reason it keeps going up, even as we lose students, is because we have money setting there for wages and so on. But we have an average of 20 open positions a month, and each one of your teachers, on average, costs the district $110,000 a year. So you add that up, and that's an increase in our fund balance. And this is where I was talking about the decrease in the WKKF funds. So we have dropped, as you can see, drastically. That's what the amount that we'll be getting, $830,000 in this coming fiscal year, which is a huge drop from what we're used to. And that's where those positions come from, that most of them came from, that we were reducing, is those grant funds paid for those positions.
So those funds were largely for like compensation, they weren't supporting programs or anything else?
Both. So that's another thing that's impacting is direct programs. We saw, and that's where Dr. Cheeks' department saw a decrease in the ability to have programs that directly affected the students because they were in the WKKF grant.
Are we just letting those programs sunset, or do we need to draw on other, or can we draw on other funding sources?
We're looking at different funding sources every day, all the time. That's what Mitch and I are actually talking about over the weekend. He did a 36-page grant application to try to get more funding.
So it's a both and, if I could add to that. I think that's a great point, is that it also allowed us the opportunity to test some programs, and not all of them had the greatest return on investment. So we're making some strategic decisions about what is our start, stop, continue list as a result of this. So.
In response to that, when I know we're approaching the end of this grant, and it would be helpful, like, to do a look back at how we spent those funds, what did we learn, what we spent the money on, what did we keep, what did we do away with, so we can look back at opportunities and strengths.
Good idea. Any other questions? Okay. Looking forward, going back to zero-based budgeting, that's what I'm really looking at, and then with a new system, I'll be able to dive into that more. Really getting where we're at and then projecting and forecasting to make sure that we're on track. Instead of being reactionary, we can be forward thinking and do those kind of things. Expenditure controls. Along with everything else, we are changing credit card systems so we can be more on top of what we're spending with credit cards, with everything. Our point of sale system, so we can actually see what money we're getting in a faster rate instead of just being responsive to our finances, and we can actually plan on a daily basis, not just on a whatever we decide basis, if you will. So we're being more transparent and being more responsive with our finances. Next steps, as I said, we're going to do the expanded marketing, the virtual models that you guys have heard about in the past, staffing levels. We're going to stay on top of that as well, and then work on enrollment stabilization. Overcap, we focused on prioritizing the classroom and the direct attention to our students. Operational reductions to strengthen our expenditures, and then utilizing zero-based budgeting, comprehensive reviews of staffing, and then develop budgets and budget processes in the future. Any questions?
We've been using ZBB, zero-based budgeting, for about, I don't know, maybe 2 years. I know you're new. What's been your impression of being able to wrap your arms around, like, how is that going for the district? How effective is it? Does it need some tweaks still?
It has room to grow. So zero-based budgeting is simply being accountable for every dime you spend. We have room to improve. So a great example of that is where we didn't do that. We put in a whole bunch of new boilers with some of the ESSER funds I talk about, but we didn't reduce our expenses for what it costs for heating in those buildings. So we didn't look at it all encompassing. We only focused on key points instead of all of it. Well, when you look at it, when I started adding that up, that was $200,000. So that's where things need to be kind of streamlined, if you will, is looking at it in a holistic picture and not just piecing things together.
So, not questions necessarily for today, but in seeing all the changes that are coming down, and we're seeing declining enrollment in the county, but focusing on us. I'm interested in our strategy for, so besides I know we have marketing and communication, but I don't know that, like, what are our real outreach efforts to address increasing declining enrollment? Like, I know the virtual program is one that we're hoping maybe to accommodate for some of that. So that I'm interested in, like, the federal changes and how that impacts students, but really what is our responsibility and what can we do to advocate? Because I don't know that we have a strong policy strategy as a board, and I'm curious what we can do.
For physical, so that I really want to change. So all of the physical policies that you're talking about, I actually want to make them board approved policies. So just like when I brought you guys everything with the bank account,
Yes.
I want you guys to do the same thing when it comes to policies. So that way we can all be on the same sheet of music and understand that and make sure that we have talking points on all of those policies. Those are key. So then we can look at those and make sure that we're adjusting in them and addressing them every year at the same time that we're doing the budget. And we're tying them to our new processes and anything that changes along the way.
Did I understand your question to be more about how, as a governance team, do we advocate for legislative? Yeah, so what is our advocacy policy
Yeah,
as?
so sorry, not like policy.
Yeah. And I think that's a great, I wonder if there is a strategy that could be a part of that joint board meeting? Because it seems like that's where it should live, because
Right.
we're all needing
Impacted
to-
by these
we're all
changes.
impacted by the shifts in school funding.
Yes.
And so how might we collectively, and even bring in a legislative advocate to teach us
Yes.
how to advocate? I know we did that like 4 years ago.
Yes.
But boards have changed.
Yes.
So I would love for that would be a purposeful
Correct.
joint meeting where we get a
Absolutely.
skill.
We get aligned on something.
Collectively talk about school
Yes.
funding. So.
Yes. So at some point, though, we could also have a presentation on enrollment, what our strategy is. Are we aligning that to our values and such? I don't want it to hit us.
I think that's a both and thing as well. I think that both of those things need to be tied together.
So I hope to address a little bit of that in our
Okay.
20-second presentation. When we're actually doing the presentation. Sound like you wanted to join.
If I could just add, so another piece that we already have in place is Dr. Carter's position and integration with the Michigan Alliance for Student Opportunity. And so that group of schools has their own legislative advocate. And I only know that because she's constantly giving us information from them. So there is a path that's already there that she's involved in, but I think also expanding it to more local grassroots could be helpful.
And to add to that, so we have the MSBO here, the Michigan School Business Officials. There's a national one, and in July, I'm actually going to meet with our representatives in DC, our two Congress people in the state, and our senator. I already have those meetings set up for July 8th.
Two senators and your congressperson.
What's that?
I mean, your two senators and your congressperson?
Yes, sir. Hopefully they buy me lunch.
Review your ethics policy. Do
Right.
we have any questions? Additional questions?
Not that kind of lunch, like a real, goodness gracious.
All right, any other questions for Dr. J? All right, well, thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this budget hearing.
Vice President Perry,
Yes, Trustee Johnson?
we'll move to adjourn the budget hearing.
I have a motion from Trustee Johnson with support from Trustee Graycheck to adjourn the budget hearing. Do we have any discussion? All right, so all in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, we're adjourned for that. All right, calling to order the agenda for the work session. Can you please call the roll?
Felicia Hayden.
Present.
Kate Flores. Art McClinney. Dr. Johnson.
Yes.
Nathan Graycheck. Dr. Perry.
Present.
Charlie Fulbright.
Okay, as a reminder, tonight's meeting is being interpreted into Spanish thanks to our partners from Voces Battle Creek. To listen in Spanish, please refer to the description in our YouTube live stream for the link. To our board members and other speakers, please remember to speak clearly and not too quickly so that our interpreters are able to keep up. Thank you. I will now entertain a motion for the approval of our agenda or consider any additions or deletions.
Madam President, I want to move that we amend under number 8, new business, letter H to become tentative agreement between BCPS and Battle Creek Education Support Professionals Association, and letter I to become tentative agreement between BCPS Battle Creek Education Association.
It's been moved by Trustee Graycheck and supported by Trustee Hayden to amend letter H in new business and now read tentative agreement between BCPS and Battle Creek Education Support Personnel Association, and I to now read tentative agreement between BCPS and Battle Creek Education Association. Do we have any discussion? All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? All right. Moving on to public comment. The BCPS Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the community to express themselves on district matters. We have 2 opportunities in our agenda tonight for public comment. The Board of Education requests you fill out a public participation form with contact information. As you come to the microphone, please state your name. Each statement made by a speaker shall be limited to a 3-minute duration. If the speaker represents a group, the person will be given 5 minutes to speak. BCPS Board of Education will listen, take comments and questions under advisement, and not respond at this time. Public commenters will direct all comments to the Board of Education and not to staff or other participants. Do we have any public comment?
Madam Chair, we're doing a form right now, but I'm just asking for a moment of,
No worries.
I have to fill it all the way out.
As long as I got your
You
name.
can come on up.
As long as I got your name in there.
Yeah, and fill it out afterward.
Are you speaking for yourself or for a group?
We're speaking on behalf of the BCEA.
All right, so
First of all, Madam Chair, members of this wonderful delegation, Madam Superintendent, I want to present to you all Mindy, Miss Mindy, and she's going to bring words on behalf of the BCEA.
And he's so kind and so formal. So on behalf of our President, Dr. Anthony Pennock, Vice President, Dr. Bell, Jr., the BCEA Negotiations Committee, and the entire membership of the BCEA, we would like to extend our sincerest appreciation to the Board of Education and the Battle Creek Public Schools bargaining team for their collaboration and good faith efforts throughout this process of bargaining. We're grateful that an agreement has been reached and in such a timely and positive manner. And we thank you for hopefully the approval of the contract this evening. We thank you for your continued partnership and support of the educators and the students of the Battle Creek Public Schools. Thank you.
Thank you.
okay, let's move on to item 4 of our agenda, staff recognition with our Whatever It Takes awards. Dr. Carter?
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. And as we end this school year, it's most appropriate to maybe save the best for last. How's that? We are here today to honor and recognize Ms. Lisa Gardner. Lisa consistently goes above and beyond by stepping in to take on responsibilities that often and always extend far beyond her role. She has provided tremendous support to the high school, helping students stay on track for graduation and ensuring they have access to important certifications that support their future success. She has also worked closely with families, especially in helping coordinate transportation, removing barriers that could prevent students from fully participating in school. Her willingness to step in and solve problems, often without recognition, has made a meaningful difference to students and families. Her dedication, compassion, and quiet leadership have helped countless students succeed. She truly embodies what it means to do whatever it takes. Lisa is our ML coordinator and has gone above and beyond to make sure that our ML students have access to and the benefit of a high-quality education. She's made connections beyond what we could have ever imagined, and she steps in even when it is not in her role or responsibility. So please join me in celebrating Lisa for her outstanding commitment to our students.
Congratulations so much. Well deserved. Thank you very much.
I think I blinked on that first one.
You're good. Yes.
Okay, now moving to item 5 for discussion, we will talk about our revised policy 5209, student use of cell phone and electronic devices. This is our second reading. Dr.
So before we begin, I wanted to address some of the questions that came up in our previous reading, and so I just wanted to get the date correct. But in response, and the reason we are moving the cell phone policy forward quickly is because we really want to prepare our families and have the time over the summer to communicate, to get out information. On June 15th, there will be a cell phone policy implementation team coming together that includes teachers, principals, and others. We've already received information from our parents and our families, and now from families and students, and now we're going to take that information and collectively principals and teachers put together a response and implementation plan. So we're looking forward to that. But the policy reads as follows. Student use of cell phone and electronic communication devices. Students may not use cell phones or other electronic devices during school hours. Cell phones or other electronic devices must be stored in the student's locker during school hours if a student chooses to bring them to school. Students are personally and solely responsible for the security of their cell phones and other electronic devices. The district is not responsible for theft, loss, or damage of any cell phone or other electronic device. Taking, disseminating, transferring, or sharing obscene, pornographic, lewd, or otherwise illegal photographs, video, audio, or other similar data, whether by electronic data transfer or otherwise, including cell phone or other electronic device, may constitute a crime under state or federal law. A student engaged in any of these activities at school, at a school event, or on school-provided transportation may be subject to discipline pursuant to this policy and the Student Code of Conduct. A student engaged in any of these activities outside of the school may be disciplined if the student's activities substantially disrupt or negatively affect the school environment. School administrators and teachers may confiscate a student's cell phone or other electronic device if the student's use or possession of a cell phone or electronic device violates this policy, the Student Code of Conduct, or any applicable building or classroom rule. The building principal or designee may require a meeting with the student's parent to discuss the rule violation before returning the cell phone or electronic device. Students who violate this policy are subject to corrective or disciplinary action consistent with the policy and the Student Code of Conduct. Anybody have a question? Okay, I have one related to, I don't recall if it was for this one. Do we need to have an exception related to IEPs or any? Are there any exceptions to the policy? Yes, and so I didn't know if it was attached, but there are exceptions for use of devices that are in an IEP or a 504 plan. Okay. Yes. And then just a comment around school hours, not for this policy, but as you do the dissemination to parents, it would be helpful to like define what that is, because I know each school varies. So if you're in the elementary, it's at bell to bell, so 8:50 at Fremont to 3:50, right? So just be very clear so parents are understanding what that means with school hours. Capturing notes. Any other comments, questions?
How significantly does this differ from what we're already doing? Because it sounds pretty similar to our school policies, right? I mean, just off base here.
A little, the biggest shift is going to be no cell phone from bell to bell. So in some schools, it has differed across our campuses. You could have it in the hallway, or you might be able to have it at lunchtime. So the biggest change is bell to bell, no cell phones.
That makes sense, thank you.
Thank you. All right, seeing no other questions? All right. Thank you, Dr. Carter. We're going to move on to our reports and recommendations. So our first one is National Fitness Campaign Healthy Campus Fitness Court Project.
All right. I feel like I needed to come here and do some push-ups for this one. But I can't. They would have been modified push-ups, I'll say that. All right, so good evening. In your board packet, there was a good amount of information about this project. So happy to announce that Battle View Public Schools has received a $40,000 grant to put towards the creation of a fitness studio, which is from the National Fitness Campaign. In your board packet, there was information that I think there was a 3-minute video. If you hadn't had a chance to look at that, it's a really good video that just kind of shows the overall idea of the project. The proposed site that was approved in the grant application is the Spirit Field. We felt like it gives us a really good connection to the linear park and some of the downtown walkability. So you could walk the linear park, go for a quick workout, and then kind of continue back on. And so yeah, this is a new project, so I'm happy to entertain, what questions do you have? Fire away at me. There's some exciting possibilities with local artists that we can talk about. Happy to answer. I can tell you more if you want, or if you want to answer any questions. I can do some Zumba that I'm going to teach there when I first open.
You can say a little bit more about the local artists.
Yeah, so we have decided to go with an option where we can partner with a local artist for, if you haven't seen what it looks like, there is a large kind of, maybe a 5-foot wall that on the other side it holds some of the equipment that is great for branding. So we can brand it with regular Battle Creek Public Schools. However, some of the conversation and the ideas were we have the Color the Creek project already, so might we be able to tap into some local artists to help with the branding of that wall. And again, if you look at the proposal and the examples, you'll see the wall that I'm talking about that's right there.
As far as the maintenance of
Yep.
it, who's responsible? Us?
So we are, yeah, so we've worked really closely with facilities, Herb, Jeff, we all worked together, one on the preparation of it, so facilities is gonna take the designs that the NFC can provide as far as grading and all of that stuff. So we have that there, but then as far as maintenance goes, that was a question I asked in some of our kickoff conversations. The biggest piece of maintenance that I foresee is the sunshade that we want to put over the fitness court. Everything else is durable. I think it's got a 15-20-year warranty plus, and they've been around for a while. So there's one over in Kalamazoo by the kick pool, if you've seen that. They're pretty low maintenance because they're mostly just metal or concrete structures. The rings really are the only kind of movable pieces that are up against the kind of the wall.
What about liability insurance?
I've already talked to our insurance company. We will just add that as a rider to the policy.
There you go.
I think I want to just add the larger vision around how this is connected to us creating that, the community, the Washington Heights connection of birth through high school, housing and physical wellness, those 3 prongs, and this will help us continue to develop on that in that space. So.
Yep. We also did highlight in the grant application kind of Battle Creek's long history of wellness, back to the sanitarium, and so they were pretty intrigued just kind of about some like our history around wellness. Also mentioning that some of our health outcomes within our community are not where we want them to be, and so this could also be a value add, like Dr. Carter said.
So overall, I see the plate for it. We get the 40,000 grant, which is great, but
Yep.
the overall cost is still
Yep.
not
Yeah,
insignificant.
so it's like a 10% off coupon.
Yeah, right. So like my question with that is like,
Yep.
among all of the financial budgetary pressures that we will
Sure.
face, are we comfortable that this is a great use of our funding or the funds that we have? You know, how does that feed into the larger?
I'll let my colleagues kind of chime in. I'll just start by saying that the funds that were approved in our last bond to go towards playgrounds, we were able to kind of reimagine what the cost of those would look like. And so that amount, albeit a large amount, is going to be covered by the bond fund that we had intended otherwise.
That's not gonna that won't hit our general fund.
Okay.
So when we do this, we're looking at the bigger picture, like Dr. Carter said, so we're not only doing this, but we're working with a team to get swim classes and swimming in Northwestern. We're doing this and then parking lot there for the football fields, and so people have better access to this. I mean, we're trying to be more community-based while not also using the general fund. So we really are talking about the fiscal responsibility, but also the community on top of that, and not just looking at both as an individual thing.
One thought or suggestion, how we publicize this, because the bond was approved, but showing the progress of how we're using that funding, whether it be in the shopper or some other place, so people can actually see like we are investing in our community through the money that they.
I'll give you kind of a really tentative because it's going to depend on weather. So The process after this is once we receive your approval, then we send a PO, they begin manufacturing of all the pieces. That arrives within 4 to 6 weeks. We have to put a concrete pad down on that site. And then after that, we pay their network of installers who do this all across the country to install. They're hoping for a ribbon cutting in fall. I tempered that with, I would feel good if we got a concrete pad out on the ground before the ground thaws. All that to say, that's kind of, so maybe in the spring ribbon cutting, but they have, the National Fitness Campaign has an entire launch kit of stuff that we can get to Jose and all of that stuff. There will be a, you'll be invited, very formal ribbon cutting and all of those pieces.
And it's not lost that we should be doing bond progress reports.
Oh, good point.
On all the great things that are happening.
Absolutely, so we'll make sure that goes out, and we're also thinking about doing a magazine that will go out to all houses, so we'll make sure to include bond progress and all the projects that we're already doing and what's coming up, so.
Good question.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I was going to ask the same questions about the physical side of it. It sounds like that is taken care of, and the insurance writer's acceptable. So that's great. It's great to hear. That being settled, I'm excited about this. I think the outdoor, exercise playground kind of thing has been more popular. So great, more accessibility for people for most of the year. Obviously, there's the winter months, but most of the year, I think it's a great accessibility thing. And yeah, the video of some of us out there working on it, promoting it. I'm game to sign up for that. So
I hear the whole board is coming out.
Are you looking?
I could probably surface some from Piper Park that a guy did that I know who made some, so.
I did, didn't I?
Trustee Hayden? Speaking of accessibility, will it be accessible for those with needs, challenges, ADA accessible?
So ADA accessible, yes. I will say, and if you look at the video, I think you'll notice pretty quickly that the exercises and stations are not accessible depending on the disability that you have. Push-ups, sit-ups, ring stuff. So yeah.
Any other questions?
Okay.
Thank you. Item B, L4029, tax rate request form. Dr. J.
That's just a formality. I just need some signatures at the end of this. As I'm stumbling up here. I don't know. I could have just stayed sitting down.
For those who are watching and don't see the document.
Exactly.
Can you stand a little bit?
Sorry, yes. So that is our yearly tax form that it sets our limits and reimbursements for like indirect costs, stuff like that. So that's all that does for us. It's put together by another entity that gives us a rate that allows us to get different returns on loans, bonds, things like that. So that's all it is. It happens every year.
Questions?
Thanks, good catch.
Next, we will have the reduction of professional personnel from Dr. Henry.
Good evening, board. The district is recommending a reduction in staff for the 26-27 school year due to the decreasing funding. These changes are necessary to ensure the long-term financial stability of the district. Projected declines in student enrollment and rising operational costs continue to place added pressure on district's resources. Since January, the district has been engaged in extensive budget planning efforts for the upcoming fiscal year. Through a series of meetings and financial reviews, district leaders have identified cost-saving measures while prioritizing core instructional and student support services. Based on this review, it is recommended that the board approve a reduction of 8 staff positions, which includes 5 professional staff and 3 non-exempt staff members for the 26-27 school year, as a part of the district's strategy to align staffing with available resources and evolving programmatic needs. At this time, we request your approval. Question?
What's a transitional teacher?
A transitional teacher is a teacher that is working, is in a program and working on certification. And those individuals are part of the Grow Your Own program. Those, we did have some individuals that were a part of this that were not in the program and were not working towards certification.
So were they like, what's the difference between a transitional teacher and like a parapro?
A transitional teacher is working on teacher certification and a
But they're still in classrooms, correct?
A transitional teacher could have their own classroom. Last year, we had some transitional teachers serving as building subs because they were a part of programs and we were trying to hold on to them because of the commitment we had with the Grow Your Own program. But then there were some that were not in a program, so we could not continue.
Okay. So I guess where I'm confused.
That was clear.
Yeah, I guess where I'm confused is why we would select any classroom support to do the reduction in force.
These are the only ones that were reduced are the ones that are not in a program to become certified. And so they can't stay in a classroom if you're not working towards teacher certification.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay.
And I don't know what part of that was different.
It wasn't clear in the way you mentioned it, but so the reduction is in those who are not actively pursuing teacher certification, because you can't just stay in a transitional program without being enrolled.
Thank you. It may have been how she said it.
Maybe
At me later. Thank you, Dr. Carter.
because I'm from the South, man.
You were speaking, no, just.
Much love, much love. And since I'm standing, is it okay to go to the next?
Well, I want to make sure we still have questions that have been answered for this, so
Yep.
hold please.
Go ahead.
I have a question. Yes, thank you. What is the plan for eliminating the positions? Is it like, and I know there's some openings, so we're gonna go through like attrition, is it like, or are we able to get them out through like, attrition of current openings, or is this gonna be like laying people off that are currently working?
Okay, I'm not.
I can answer. Maybe because I just understand. I don't know. The question was, so the individuals on these are actually reductions, which means they will be laid off. And it is, but that doesn't mean that they weren't offered other positions. They were either not interested in them or not certified for them. So to your point, yes, there are openings, and Dr. Henry did meet with individuals to give them other options. And if you don't fit into those options or were not interested in those options, then it became a layoff, which is why they're in front of you today.
Got it. Okay, maybe I'm just using the word. I was thinking, I know sometimes there's people that are like, gonna leave anyway, or there's already an opening, we take the opening down, don't no longer have it as a posted job. That's not the same as this.
You would not see those here. We would just do those through attrition, and that is still happening. I think what's further information is that we know we have special education openings, and so Dr. Henry has been meeting with individuals to offer them the opportunity to get into a special ed program as a way of growing our own special education teachers. So those were some of the strategies that were used. The individuals that came before you today just weren't either interested in those positions or chose not to take them.
And thank you so much.
I just have a question, maybe clarification. On the documents, there was like the resolutions, it says for the first one, non-exempt, it has 4, but it lists 3 names in my copy. And then for the next page, it says 4, but it lists 5 names. So I just wanted to clarify
Yes, we will
before you
fix
guys
that.
sign anything. But it's just under discussion, so you aren't signing it unless it gets passed.
I think it comes back on the 22nd.
Okay, so yeah.
So we'll fix that between now and the 22nd. Thank you.
No other questions on that? Then, Dr. Henry, we will move to item D, the tentative agreement between BCPS and Battle Creek Education Support Personnel Association.
Once again, I come to you requesting your approval of the tentative agreement between the district and the Battle Creek Education Support Personnel Collective Bargaining Unit, also known as the maintenance unit. The maintenance bargaining unit enhancements through the negotiated agreement process included providing the opportunity for employees to transition from an 8-hour to 10-hour work schedule where applicable. In addition, employees were granted an additional week of vacation versus providing a step. These enhancements recognize their contributions and provided increased flexibility and work-life balance. At this time, we solicit your approval of this agenda.
Any questions on that? Okay, Dr. Henry, we can move on to item E, tentative agreement between BCPS and Battle Creek Education Association.
Once more and again, I come to you requesting your approval of the tentative agreement between the district and the Battle Creek Education Association, also known as the Teachers Union, and we have representatives from the Teachers Union here tonight. In this tentative agreement, the salary schedule has a 3% cost of living increase. In addition, for the 26-27 school year, a $2,000 stipend will be given to each BCA member if the district loses 0 students for the school year. This stipend will be paid out on the last day of June 2027. Also, a $1,000 stipend will be given to each BCA member if the district M-STEP increases by 20%. This stipend will also be paid out the last pay of June 2027. In addition, 2 additional steps were added to each scale. At this time, we request your approval of the aforementioned agenda items. And I also would like to say we had a collaborative process as stated by the collective bargaining unit leadership, and it's a collaborative process. And at this time, I present this to the board.
Okay, any questions? Seeing none, thank you, Dr. Henry.
Thank you.
Do we have any, moving to item 7, public comments, do we have any additional public comment? Moving on to item 8, new business. We will cover the MHSAA resolution. I think I see
You just need a motion.
Okay. Oh, it's new business. Yeah, so I entertain a motion on the MHSAA resolution.
I move that we approve the MHSAA resolution as presented.
It's been moved by trustee Graycheck and supported by trustee Hayden that we approve the resolution. Do we have any discussion? And then all in favor, please say, oh, is your card open? No, okay. And all in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. The next item B, entertain a motion regarding the 2025-2026 general fund.
I move that we approve the 2025-2026 general fund as presented.
It's been moved by trustee Graycheck, supported by trustee Johnson to approve the 2025-2026 general fund proposed budget. Do we have any discussion? All in favor, say yes. Yes. Any opposed? The motion passes. Item C, entertaining a motion around the 2025-2026 supplemental fund, final budget amendments. Vice President, trustee Johnson.
I move to approve as stated.
I'll say trustee Hayden, did you do that one? So it's been moved by trustee Johnson and supported by trustee Hayden to approve the 2025-2026 supplemental fund final budget amendments. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item D, our 2026-2027 preliminary general fund budget. Entertaining a motion for that.
Madam President, I move that we approve 2026-27 preliminary general fund budget.
Support.
Been approved by trustee Graycheck, supported by trustee Johnson to approve the 2026-2027 preliminary general fund budget. Any discussion? none, all in favor, please say yes. Yes. Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes. Entertaining a motion for the 2026-2027 preliminary supplemental fund budget. Madam President.
I move that we approve the 26-27 preliminary supplemental fund budget.
Support. Moved by Trustee Hayden, supported by Trustee Johnson, to approve the 2026-2027 preliminary supplemental fund budgets. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Would like to entertain a motion for L4029 tax rate request form.
Madam President, I would move that we approve L4029 tax rate request form.
Support. Been moved by Trustee Gurjek, supported by Trustee Johnson, to approve the L4029 tax rate request form. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, please say yes. Yes. All opposed? Seeing none, the motion passes. Item G, nursing contract, entertaining a motion regarding that. Perry.
I move to approve the nursing contract up to $400,000 from the fund balance.
It's been moved by Trustee Johnson, supported by Trustee McClenny, that we approve this board approves the nursing contract in the amount of $400,000 from the funding source of our fund balance. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say yes. Yes. Any opposed? No, so motion passes. And would like to entertain a motion regarding the tentative agreement between BCPS and Battle Creek Education Support Personnel Association. Personnel Association.
Mr. President, I make a motion for the approval of the tentative agreement between BCPS and Battle Creek Education Secretary.
It's been moved by Trustee Hayden, supported by Trustee McKinney, that this board approve the tentative agreement between BCPS and Battle Creek Education Support Personnel Association. Any discussion? All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. I'd like to entertain a motion for the tentative agreement between BCPS and Battle Creek Education Education Association.
Vice President. I move to approve the tentative agreement between BCPS and Battle Creek Education. The word about that. It's different on the agenda.
It's been moved by Trustee Johnson and supported by Trustee McClenny. You already raised his hand. Yep, no worries. By Trustee McClenny, to approve the tentative agreement between BCPS and Battle Creek Education Association. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please say yes. Yes. All opposed? Motion carries, it passes. And revision, would like to entertain a motion regarding the revised policy 5209, student use of cell phone and electronic devices.
President Perry, I move to approve the revised policy 5209, student use of cell phone and electronic devices.
It's been moved by Trustee Johnson and supported by Trustee Hayden to approve the revised policy 5209, student use of cell phone and electronic devices. Any discussion? All in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
All opposed?
I'm so sorry.
Okay, motion carries. Would like now to move on to item 9. Slash back to 4th grade and that was what my number was. So entertaining a motion to go into closed session.
Madam President, I move that we go into closed session to superintendent evaluation.
Support.
Been moved by trustee Grayjack, supported by trustee Johnson, to go into closed session to discuss the superintendent evaluation. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please say yes. Yes. All opposed? No, seeing none, we will go into closed session.
I just gave some
We're
options.
back on.
I got you.
Okay, I would like to entertain a motion to motion to go back into open session. Reconvene.
Madam President, move that we reconvene. From close.
Nathan
So it's been moved by Trustee Graycheck and supported by Trustee McLean to reconvene. So we are back in session. Superintendent comments.
All right, quickly, a reminder that our kindergarten readiness program starts on June 15th and Bearcat Blast is starting on June 22nd. So make sure to check out our website for more details. We can't wait to see our Bearcats learning and having fun this summer. Battle Creek Public Schools has been visiting homes around our community to learn more about what went well this year, what are some areas that have opportunities, and how we can make your experience better. We will be out again next week, so if you see us out walking or at a summer event, stop by and talk to us. Lastly, we want to remind families that BCPS is proudly participating in the Meet Up and Eat Up program this summer. The program kicks off next Monday, June 15th, and you can find a full list of locations and times on our social media account. We will be serving meals throughout the summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Carter. Any of the board member comments? Seeing none, in honor of Charlie, I will say great things are happening at Battle Creek Public Schools, and then I will say let's revive being the pride of the state. We are adjourned.
Yay.